Hello friends, I hope you are doing great. This is the second part of the series, and if you have not watched the first part, the link is given below in the description box. And in this video, I have explained you all the details about the fundamentals of tool designing. So one by one, all the aspects are explained. So learn the things and I will see you in the last. So the first element in fundamentals of tool designing is selection of tool material. Friends, material selection is a very important point as far as tool design is concerned. Now let us take one example. You have to build a house, bungalow, and you have a land. Okay, so what is the main cost while building your bungalow or your building? So the main cost is material, like, right, like steel, cement, whatever it may be. Similarly, if we understand the die designing, now here one question to you: if you have to design a die, for example, so what is the approximate cost? Any idea of a plastic mold? Now I have shown you the component of R15, right? Now can you tell me what may be the cost for designing out that particular die? Okay, it is in lakhs of rupees, friends. So if you have to design a die for a car product, which is that dashboard, for example, it is in crores of rupees. If you have to design a bonnet die, it is in crores. And this example, this may be 10 lakh rupees, 15 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees. So apart from that, now if the die cost is say 10 lakh rupees, around 4 lakh rupees is the material cost. So this is a very important part. And how to decide the material, that we are going to understand. Friends, this knowledge you have to use everywhere, because this is a common thing. Means even though you are working in tool design or product design, these concepts are similar. Because I will tell you my example. I started my career say in Kirloskar. I worked as a tool design engineer. Then when I joined Mahindra and Mahindra, I was not having any knowledge of product. I started working in R&D. So I was not having the knowledge of car. I had not seen how the car is assembled like that. But once you have that experience in tool design, when you have that knowledge of designing fundamentals, you can apply that knowledge in R&D. That is all right. So this tool material selection knowledge, when you are using in tool designing, same you can use in product design. So let us understand what are the various criteria, how the material is selected. So material is selected, first is the strength, then hardness requirement, what is the accuracy required, what is the surface finish value required, then atmospheric conditions, then working conditions, what is the weight of the component, by which process you are going to manufacture this component, then cost considerations, availability of material. There are so many things, friends. So material selection, who is the right person to ask or to guide you? Purchase engineer. So you should have friendship with purchase engineer. See, friends, we have to understand, even though you are working in a design department, always there is a teamwork. So ask this question to purchase engineer. He will guide you about the right material, because he is having vast knowledge about the material, means which material is available where and what is the cost. So this was the first point. Then second point in tool designing is guiding system. Now guiding system means what? You can see here guide pin and guide bush is there, and at the right side there is a die assembly. Okay, die is in an open stage. So generally 4 guide pins are used in one half, and guide bushes, 4 guide bushes are fitted in another half. And what is the use of guide pin guide bush system? So when you are closing the die, because of guide pin and guide bush, there is no mismatch on the component. So there may be a provision of guide pin and guide bush, or there may be a provision of guide pillar and guide bush. So what is the difference? Guide pillar means what? In case of press tool, dies, there are guide pillars. Okay, or machine pillars you must have seen. Machine pillars means when the die is operating like this, there are 4 guide bars and bushes are there. So designing of that is called as a guiding system. So we understood the function of guide pin and guide bush system. So function is to avoid the mismatch of component on the generally parting line. So what is the material of this guide pin and guide bush? There are so many materials available. You can go for 16 mm CR5 or 20 mm CR5. Okay. And generally the guide bush and guide pin, they are case hardened, means surface hardness is there. So you must be knowing there are two types of hardening processes. One is surface hardening and another is through hardening. Okay. So surface hardening is used for the components like guide pin and guide bush, wear pad, and through hardening is required for dies, for example. And apart from this, you must know what is the hardness value, then how the hardness is improved. So these are all, again, it's a vast subject, friends. So I'm just touching the subject because we have very less time and we have to cover so many things. So just I'm giving you the idea, means how you can again develop your skills. So how to decide the material, and for that particular element, like maybe guide pin, guide bush, knockout pin or die material. Next system is knockout system. Knockout system is also called as a retainer pin system or retaining pin system or push pin system. Okay, so generally four knockout pins are fitted at four corners near guide pin and guide bush, and function of knockout pin is to achieve the synchronized motion. Means, for example, when the die is in closed condition and when say moving up is moving, okay, at the same time, because of knockout pin, the synchronized motion is achieved. So if knockout pins are not there, what will happen? There is a possibility of damage of either ejector pin, that also we are going to study, or either it may be affecting the component, or maybe ejector plate damage will be there. And another function of knockout pin is to achieve the original position of ejector plate. That is another function. That's why it is called as a retainer system or retaining pin system. Next point we are going to understand, that is very important. It is called as a gating system. Gating system is also called as a feeding system. This system is also called as a what? Any idea? Running system. Okay, running system, gating system and feeding system. So what is this system? A system which feeds the material in the die cavity. That system is called as a gating system. Very simple. Now, designing of gating system is a very important part. And generally, friends, people generally will not tell you the secret because they are hiding this part. Many times in the companies, you'll find that if you ask somebody, say for example, this is a component I have to design. Okay, can you see this component? I will stop this screen. Now, for example, you have to design the component. You have to design the gating system. So what is covered? What will be the sprue area? What will be the runner area? Where will be the location of in-gate? What should be the size of in-gate? This is all about the gating system. Also, riser is also covered in that. Then filter is there. There are many elements. So people generally will not tell you the secret of this. So there are calculations available. Okay. And generally in our part, we teach all calculation part. And when you know the calculation part, but that is just a guideline. Getting system perfection, mastery, when you will achieve, when you will work in the company for 4-5 years, when you attend so many trials, then you will understand this subject in a better way. Why? Because what happens, I will tell you, there are so many problems during trials and troubleshooting. Means what? When I was in Kirloskar Oil Mills, we used to go to Hospet area, that is in Karnataka, and there is one company, Kirloskar Ferrous Industries Limited. So designing activity, once it is over, then we used to go to that company for trials and troubleshooting, and it's a very tedious job. Why? Because in the second shift or third shift, you have to load the die on the machine. Then there are so many problems. And friends, we learn the things when there are problems. Isn't it? In your life also, which things you remember mainly? Good things and bad things, right? These are the memories. Means if you are very happy, you remember all these moments. And when painful things are there, that also you remember. So trials and troubleshooting is a very painful activity. Why? Because the regular production is going on and people, they are not giving you the machine. So you have to wait in for the trial in the second shift. So around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, midnight, we used to conduct the trials. So there are so many problems. And which are those problems? Mounting of the die on the machine is a problem. Closing of the die is a problem. Filling of material is a problem. Die, that means opening is a problem. Component rejection is a problem. Somehow you produce the components. Then there are so many problems on the product also. Again, what we have to do? We have to go for the corrective action. Then plan is defined, that means design. So you have to take corrective action either on the die or on the process. You have to change the process parameters, or you have to change the die. So one analyst is there, he's an experienced person, and try to stay with that person. He will guide you, he will give a lot of inputs to you. And when you are there, when you witness all these problems, and when you see what kind of action, corrective action they have taken, that is a very good knowledge you are gaining. So always try to find the opportunities, go to the shop floor. This problem I'm facing nowadays, because we are giving placement to our students. And when they are placed, they are saying, sir, they are asking for working on shop floor for 3-4 months. And then they are saying that they will take you to the design department. So this is the opportunity. When you are working on the shop floor, you learn all these things. So what is the learning here? Learning here is that what are the problems you faced and what is the corrective action taken? And now use this knowledge in your next design. This is very important stuff, friends. So this is the opportunity, right? Getting system. Nowadays, there are many softwares available. These softwares are also guiding you how to design the gate, runner area, and in-gate. These softwares are called as a mold flow analysis software. So there are so many softwares available in the market. Like as far as plastic mold is concerned, there are softwares like MoldX, MoldFlow. If it is a forging company, there are softwares like Deform. If it is a press tool, there are softwares like AutoForm and Hyperform. If it is a casting like Magma, SolidCast, ProCast, AutoCast, these are the wonderful softwares. But friends, you cannot rely 100% on this software. The reason is that there are so many variables. For example, if you are designing a press tool die, there is a software say AutoForm. Okay, that software can give you 95% accurate results. But consider sand casting. Sand casting, only 75 to 80% results are correct. Why? Because there are minimum 200 variables. And when variables are more, it's very difficult to predict. Like another analysis, tire analysis, very difficult analysis as far as vehicle is concerned, right? There are two types of analysis. One is linear and non-linear, right? So non-linear means the load is changing as per the time. So tire, it's very difficult. So here in case of gating design, you can have a guideline, means where I can position my ingot, where I can position my sprue, right? So there are calculations available, but we have time constraint. I cannot share all these things right now, but maybe we will have a dedicated session again. I will share all these details to you because I want you to improve on this. Friends, even you use one tip and if it is helpful to you and you apply in your career, and if your career is changed, transformed, then I think it's a fruitful session, today's session. Let us start understand the next system that is called as a venting system. Venting means removal of air and gases from the die. Whatever arrangement is there, that is called as a venting system. Now venting is a very, very simple thing. Venting means how you can remove the air from the die. Okay. Now if air remains inside the die, what happens, that we'll understand. If air remains in the die, then suppose plastic material is there, you have injected the plastic material, and if air trap is there, it's a defect. If it is a casting, if air is trapped inside, that is a blowhole defect, or there are other porosity defects are there. So these defects are very dangerous. You cannot accept that component. That is the reason we should avoid these elements. So air and gases, they are dangerous elements as far as die designing is concerned. Okay, so how to provide the venting arrangement? So many provisions. You can have that parting vent, you can go for slit vent, you can go for mesh vent. There are so many vents available as per the processes. Next process, next element is ejection system. Ejection system means a system which eject the component from the die is called as an ejection system, and it contains ejector plate, it contains ejector pin, it contains mechanism for forward and backward movement of the ejector plate. And designing of ejection system is again one feature you have to design. Now sometimes there is a ejection system available on the machine, so that time you have to just design the ejector pins. So again, it's a very vast subject how to design the ejector pin. What should be the size of the ejector pin, what should be the clearance between ejector pin and ejector pin hole, what should be the surface finish, what should be the accuracy. These are the various design elements as far as ejection system is concerned. And the size of ejector pin depends upon many factors. So which are those factors? The factors are like, what is the complex geometry? If very complex geometry is there, then you have to go for, that means you cannot provide bigger ejector pin. Then it depends upon the component size. If the size is big, you have to go for bigger size ejector pin. Then there should be a balanced ejection. Balanced ejection means provide ejector pin all over, so that if the ejection will be proper. What happens if the ejection is not balanced? There is a possibility of damage of component, or maybe component will not be ejected properly. And again, it's a vast subject, means it depends upon the depth of the profile also. It depends upon what kind of surface finish you have provided in the die. It depends upon the accuracy you have provided. It depends upon the mechanism, means forward and backward mechanism of ejector plate. Because sometimes ejection is that if it is not guided, then you will not get the accuracy also. So ejector pin, there are various materials available in the market. You can go for EN8, OHNS, HCHCR. There are, as per the process, there are so many materials. HCHCR means high carbon, high chromium steel, or OHNS means oil hardened, non-shrinkage. EN8, you must be knowing EN8 series. So there is a material available. We have a slide chart, and now internet. You can use, you can Google it, and you will get this data also. Again, you have to provide sometimes heat treatment arrangement, that also we are going to understand. So ejection system is basically ejector pin, ejector plate, and mechanism for operation of ejector plate. Next point we'll understand allowances. Again, very important topic. There are some allowances like shrinkage allowance, draft allowance, and machining allowance. So this is again a deep subject. If time permits, again we'll cover this topic. I will give a brief idea about the allowances. Now, if the component is, say, this is a component, this is a part, this is a shock absorber of a two-wheeler. Okay, this is a half part. I can show you. This is a hollow cavity. Right. Now, the material of this component is aluminum alloy. And when you feel the aluminum alloy, the temperature is around 650 to 700 degrees Celsius. Right. So what happens when the material is solidifying? What happens? It shrinks in size. So what happens? Area, that size is reduced. So for example, if this diameter is say 12 mm, for example, and if you keep the same size in the die, after solidification of the component, you are not getting the same size, right? Why? Because the material is shrinking. To avoid this, we have to provide some allowance that is called as a shrinkage allowance, and this allowance is in percentage. Okay, so if the material is, say, aluminum, you can go for 0.6, 0.7%. If it is cast iron, you can go for 1% or 0.8%. If it is plastic, you can, the range is wide from 0.2 to 1.5% also, depending upon the material. So which command is used during 3D modeling? This is also very important. So scale command is used in 3D modeling. Friends, we have to understand the design aspect, and you have to correlate it with the solid modeling software, because it's like hand in hand. When you are designing, you have to give the output. So you have this domain knowledge, right? Domain knowledge, what we are learning now. But you have to give the output. So the softwares are there, like softwares like CATIA, Creo, NX, whatever softwares you are using, and you must know to provide this allowance which command I am going to use. So you have to use scale command, or in some software contraction is the command. So you can use that, and this is very dangerous command, as I'm always telling you. Why? Because if some mistake is there while putting the value, then the whole die is a scrap. So very conscious decision is required when you are going for this allowance. Sometimes the allowance may be varying. Means if you go to the scale command in software, you will find along X direction, Y direction and Z direction, you are providing same allowance, for example. But sometimes the complex part is there. Then X direction you have to give different allowance, Y direction you have to give different allowance, and Z direction you have to give different allowance. So that command is also there in the software. You can explore that afterward. Okay. Pawan is asking some questions. Pawan, I will answer your questions definitely during our Q&A. You can note down all your questions. I will definitely answer this. Sudham is saying about Procast. Yes, Sudham. Procast, AutoCAD, these are very nice softwares. So another allowance is draft allowance. And draft allowance is required. I will again show you the component. This is a component. And here you can see this line. This is called as a parting line. So parting line means when the die closing is done, okay? When the die is closed and when the material is filled, after solidification, you will get one line on the component that is called as a parting line. Now draft allowance means what? That we'll understand. A taper is provided on all the vertical surfaces which are perpendicular to parting surfaces for smooth ejection of component from the die. That is called as a draft allowance. Now this draft allowance should be as minimum as possible, but it depends upon many factors. It depends upon the manufacturing process. It depends upon the depth of the die in the depth of the profile in the die. It depends upon the surface finish you are providing the die. Okay, so taper or draft command is there in the software. We have to use that command. And here one tip I would like to give you: when you are providing draft allowance, always increase the material. Always increase the material means what? Suppose this thickness is say 7 mm. Then 7 mm you have to consider it at the bottom and then provide the draft like this. Okay, so that's why it is called as an allowance. Allowance means you are adding, like basic salary, dearness allowance, leave travel allowance, medical allowance means salary adding. Similarly, when you are providing all these allowances, you are adding the material that we have to understand. So it depends upon the processes. Like in case of forging, you have to go for 3 degree or 5 degree. If it is a plastic mold, you can go for 1 degree or half degree also. If it is a rubber mold, you can go for 0 degree also. If it's a casting, you can go for 1 degree or 2 degree like that. So it depends upon the manufacturing process also that we have to understand. And third allowance is machining allowance. So machining allowance, this allowance is required for few processes. One is casting, that is sand casting and die casting, and another process is forging. So machining allowance means what? So for example, now you see this is a component, this is a manifold. Okay, now this manifold is mounted somewhere, right? So when the casting is there, when the compound is produced, it's a very rough surface, and you have to machine that surface so that you can fit this product on a particular face. To ensure the smooth surface, we need to provide extra material during die designing. That allowance is called as a machining allowance. And machining allowance, again, it should be as minimum as possible, because when machining allowance you are increasing, what happens? When machining allowance you are increasing, you are wasting the material. You have to go for machining, so more machining time, and cost is also increased. So these are the 3 allowances which are very important, and they are required in almost all types of dies. Next point is die life. Okay, so these are the points, they are required for product design also. If you are working in R&D, you can use these points. Die life means when you are designing a die, How to improve the die life? You have to understand. So for this, you need some inputs. And what are those inputs? You must understand the customer requirement. All these things, these are the inputs basically, right? So die life means how many components are produced from the die. That is called as a die life, not number of years. Like you are designing a car and we say tire life, right? Tire life, it is not life related to number of years. It is related to number of kilometers you are running the vehicle. Means around 40,000 running is over, then generally you need to change the tire. Similarly, if you want to improve the die life, there are many points which we have to consider. One is, of course, right selection of material. Another, proper hardness. Then proper safety measures, means factor of safety. Die strength should be proper. There should be proper wall thickness. There should not be any weak sections. Handling should be proper. So many things are there. How you can improve the die life. All right, friends. I hope you have learned a lot from this video. This was the second part. The final part we will be uploading soon. We conduct such free webinars frequently, and updates of all these webinars are shared in our WhatsApp group. So if you are not a part of our WhatsApp group, the link is given below in the description box. Stay connected with us, and my mission is to help 1 lakh engineers to achieve their dream career as a design engineer. So if you have not subscribed our YouTube channel, please subscribe our YouTube channel to get all the updates. Stay connected with us. Thank you.